he really pisses me off, Ryan Borgwardt. Ryan is someone who tried to fake his own death, stage his own disappearance, and just abandon his wife and children and leave them to think that he just died. His wife, Emily, and his 3 children, they were the true victims in this case. So what exactly did Ryan do? It all started on August 11th, 2024. Ryan went to church with his whole family, and then later that afternoon, he was just gonna go kayaking up north in Green Lake, Wisconsin, fish for a couple hours, and then come home late that night. However, Ryan never showed up. She did what any other wife would do. Emily reported him missing. The Green Lake County Sheriff's Office was notified of the missing kayaker, and right away, they sent out deputies to go over to the lake and try and locate him. And while they didn't find Ryan, they did find his car and his trailer. And less than an hour later, they ended up finding a capsized kayak in the western part of the lake. As soon as they found that overturned kayak, there was an all-hands-on-deck effort when it came to looking for Ryan, which included Bruce's Legacy. Bruce's Legacy is a nonprofit that aids in search and recovery operations for drowning victims. And they ended up making a pretty big discovery just that morning. 2 fishermen were casting nets along the bottom of the lake, and they ended up pulling up a fishing rod. It ended up being a fishing rod that belonged to Ryan. And then later that afternoon, someone called in reporting that they had found a tackle box, which included a wallet, a driver's license, and keys as well, all of which belonged to Ryan. And all of these findings ultimately helped confirm the belief that he must have fallen into the water. So for the next 54 days, the efforts to locate the missing 45-year-old father of 3 continued. They ended up bringing in cadaver dogs and dive teams, and the conditions on the water were far from safe. But all these people that were spending their time and putting themselves at risk were happy to do it because it was important to everyone that Ryan's family had that closure. And Keith, with Bruce's Legacy, was especially invested in finding his body. And he said he spent somewhere around $10,000 in expenses between repairs and replacing equipment. He spent 23 days of his life out on that water with sonar equipment and just as many days reviewing that data. Yet nothing pointed to Ryan being in the water. Everyone was becoming very frustrated. They were all sort of looking at each other like, is he actually in the water? Maybe he's not even out there. But of course, it was confusing to them because all of the early evidence was suggesting that he was in that water. And so on October 7th, after deciding to take their investigation in sort of a different direction, they made a huge discovery.